Afternoon, George Cook with Spey TV. Here we are late January, a wonderful sunny day on Washington's Snoqualmie River. Washington is the founding water of the Snap Tea. The Snap Tea was developed in 1991 by one John C. Farrar, a longtime Seattle area guide to Washington's waterways. John brought this cask to the table in the month of February after taking some inspiration from some moves he witnessed by the longtime legendary Loomis rep, Mr. Tom White. Okay? John brought this cask to the table in the United States, while Gary Coxon in the United Kingdom brought forth a similar cask on the other side of the Atlantic. The Snap Tea is a wonderful tool for anglers with all types of spey rods. Really lends itself to the Skagit type game, and it lends itself through different methods. And today we're going to cover the three family members of the Snap Tea. Got a Sage Method 7126-4, the laser. I got a 525 Skagit Max on it, perfectly suited to this rod, perfectly suited to winter steelhead conditions, really an all-water rod for the Pacific Northwest. The original Snap Tea by John Farrar works off 3 casting strokes, and most spey casts all feature 3 strokes. Anchor stroke, D-loop stroke, forward stroke. With the exception of the Perry Poke and the Wombat, 3 strokes are always found in these casts. The Snap Tea initial anchor stroke begins with a fairly aggressive move. You've gone from the end of your cast, you're going to lift your rod, you're going to go slightly upstream, and you're going to make an underhanded cut. An underhanded cut. When you make that cut, number one, you do not want to go past 90 degrees in making the cut. You want to keep the move small and confined to the downstream portion of your overall beam. When you make that cut, the key to the party is A, put a little acceleration on that cut, because when you accelerate the bottom, that in turn is what pulls the fly from a finished cast to the anchor position. As long as you make a nice cut and there's some acceleration on the bottom of that cut, you're going to be in business on the anchor. Now, the other aspect here is that when you make your cut, you want that rod to come all the way under and away. And when I say away, you're going to literally come back to the bank with it, the bank on your downstream side. The reason you want to do that is twofold. One, you set up your rod for a tremendous power stroke going into the D-loop. A power stroke that Deck Hogan made famous in the mid-1990s. The second thing you want to do is you want to do your part with your equipment to stay out of the warranty department. What do I mean by that? Well, as a spey caster, you've always got to be paying attention to the environment. Wind direction, water depth, water speed. You're the spey quarterback, and you had best know when to audible. And the number one audible has to do with what's going on with the wind. And so when I talk about making that cut, and that cut not only cuts under but away, rod comes under all the way to the bank, I've effectively moved the rod tip out of the way of the traveling fly. Now, if that's a lead-eye intruder, it's essentially been shot out of a muzzleloader upstream. If I fail to make that cut, come under, and I leave the rod there, I've effectively left the rod in the zone of death. And you and the warranty party will be having a party at the warranty department over on Bainbridge Island with your beautiful brand new method Because when that intruder hits that fly rod, the outcome is always crappie. It's either instant crappie, forecast from now crappie, a month from now crappie, crappie's coming. Crappie's coming to visit you because that lead eye intruder, again, is like a bullet traveling upstream. If that wind direction is coming towards you at all and you don't finish the cut, you're setting yourself up for a broken rod. Furthermore, you're not setting yourself up for all the power that you can get out of this cast. You get that power via swing speed. There's more swing speed coming from here all the way up into the D loop than there is from a shorter angle. It's as simple as thinking about swinging a bat. Once I've made that cut and I've got my anchor stroke in position, my next move is to sweep around and up. And as I sweep around and up, I'm simply coming around and up into the up position, or the key position, as our English cousins like to call it. Now, once I'm in the up position, key position, I am now set up with my D-loop properly positioned, perpendicularly set. And if you think back to that episode of Charles St. Pierre talking about grip and stance, you're already lined up where you want to go. My D-loop sets the pace. My right foot forward here in a river left. All is well for that 70-degree cast. Here we go. Cut, anchor, D-loop, forward stroke. Now you'll notice that I am stopping my rod high. I'm driving forward in the forward stroke, but I'm stopping my rod high. I'm doing that because I want to get maximum hang time to carry all this shooting line. Cut, D-loop, forward stroke, high stop, okay? Now I generally am going to stop the rod high almost all the time unless I've got a fairly notable wind coming at me. If I've got a fairly notable wind coming at me, I will drive the rod down to 10 o'clock, 9:30, even 9 o'clock in order to battle through that wind. The method will give me the line speed, the drive down will finish. But I only do that in wind. Right now, today, here on January 25th, we couldn't have asked for a better day. It's not raining for a change. It's not windy. It's just nothing but lovely. Lovely is upon us. Cut, under, around, fire, high stop, big cast. There's my mend. I'm covering the ditch, boys. No doubt about it. That's version 1, the original Snap T by John C. Farrar. The second version of the Snap T is called the Snap Z. The Snap Z I came up with years ago, and it wasn't like I woke up one Sunday morning, here comes the bikers. Those boys are doing a lot of riding today. It wasn't as if I got up one fine Sunday morning and decided, you know what, I want to invent a cast. I'm going to go with the Snap Z. Well, no. I was up in Alaska fishing silvers. In fact, I was in Tidewater on the Connecticut in western Alaska. And for some reason, I went to make a Snap T, and I did something inexplainably lazy. I didn't make the cut. I just did a little chop move. I just kind of went like that and made the cast. And I knew when I did it that I didn't make the cut. I knew what the peril was of that move, but something, maybe I had 2 sandwiches at lunch, and you know what Scott O'Donnell says? The great cast killer's lunch. So maybe lunch had slowed me down. I don't know. But I made this cut, and then I did it again, and I did it again, and then I started thinking about what I'd done. Well, what I'd done is I'd made a simpler move. I'd done it out of laziness, but now I was on to something. I was coming up with the rod in a slanted move and slashing it down that same slant. I named it the Snap Z because the line in the rod within that movement makes a Z, hence the name. Now, again, as a Spey quarterback, you got to pick and choose where you're going to play this one. Are you going to play this cast with wind coming towards you at any direction towards you? No, sir. You're not doing it. Why? Because you'll put your rod in peril. Can you play this with no wind like we've got today on this God bless Sunday? Yes, sir. You can do it. What if the wind's at your back? Yep, you're in business there. Again, you got to pick and choose. You got to be your own Spey quarterback. So in this deal, there's no circular motion. There's simply the Zorro Z, the Snap Z, the slanted slash. That's what this is. So watch the rod tip. Slant up, slant down. Now, like the original cut, there is an acceleratory fashion, and don't go home and look up that word, acceleratory. It's not in Webster's, I made it up, but it makes plenty of sense. So I'm going to come up with this slant, and I'm going to slash down it. And as long as I put a little slash to the slash, it's going to create my anchor. That's the only difference in this cast. The beauty of this move is you can do this in an absolute effortless fashion. Watch how little energy, little effort I make here. A lot of times with a floating line, could be a Skagit setup like this with a sink tip, but a lot of times with a Scandi setup with a Spey Versi leader, if I got the right conditions, I will live on this. Because it's just nothing to it, man. I'm not even trying. Minimal effort, maximum potential. The Snap Z version number 2. Now version number 3, is the C Spey. Now the C Spey is often taught by guides in the Pacific Northwest, British Columbia, and Alaska as an alternative or a first learn Snap T cast. The reason why guides like it is because they can, generally speaking, get a client to make this cast quickly and efficiently, okay? It is one of the Snap T family members, but it's not one of my favorite ones. Let me show you, then we'll talk about it. C Spey, big move. Now there's no doubt it will throw. It will huck mega. However, it is not necessarily the most efficient of the 3 family members. It works. You certainly can work with it. You can learn it. You can master it. You can live on it. This cast does several things really well. One being, it generally assures you to come all the way around and keep the rod out of the flight of that nasty but effective lead eye intruder. The one drawback to the cast is that when you go and make it, your anchor is generally going to be considerably further upstream than is needed. So watch when I make this move. End of cast, big C, all the way up, all the way back. Now, that fly landed about 20 to 22 feet above me. The issue with that is I've lost proximity. I've lost proximity. And when I say that, I mean my ability to come back around, get that line gathered into a nice D-loop that sets up a perpendicular laser straight cast is somewhat in jeopardy. So I will pick and choose where I use this cast. Now down there at that water, which is somewhat of a frog pond, I would never use this cast. I would never use it. But up here at the head of this run, where this water is rather quick and fast, this cast actually has technical merit in terms of usage. So if you look at the current speeds here, head of the run fast, midway down kind of, let's call it standard midstream flow, bottom end of this run down towards the bridge is big old frog water. As the Spey quarterback, there you are again, you got audible. This water speed is bearing down on me up here. It is bearing down on me. So a sea Spey actually becomes a useful tool, maybe even a prerequisite, in order to have enough space from the anchor position relevant to the current speed, getting into your D-loop and firing your forward stroke. Let's go through the sea Spey again. Big, complete sea, all the way up, all the way back, around, fire. And believe me, she's going to go. The method is going to send it. So the sea Spey works well, sometimes to learn the cast in an easy fashion, adapting to water speed conditions, the Spey quarterback at work. Original flavor snap tee with the cut and under by John Farrar, the Snap Z by yours truly, and the sea Spey. The three members of the Snap T family of cast, all useful, all killer. Try them out.